Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kgosi Motlhabi and I'm back again with my series titled Pressures of. We're currently doing Pressures in your mid-20s, and today I'm having the guys session. I actually had one with the ladies which I already uploaded, and today we're just going to go through the same questions but with a group of guys. So please do stay tuned to find out their answers, and yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you guys. Yes. This was a mission, hey? Like getting guys was a mission. It was a mission and a half. And yeah, so I'm just gonna explain what I'm doing, right? So I'm doing like a series, right? And it's like Pressures of. I titled the series Pressures of. And this first episode, okay, this is the second episode, which is Pressures in your mid-20s. So mid-20s meaning from 24 to the age 28 or 29, just before as long as you're not 30, it's fine. And then it's going to, I had the ladies session last week, and then having this session with you guys now, and then ideally if you guys are still interested, and then we're going to have a combined session with both the ladies and the guys if you guys are still interested. If not, it's also okay. I'm happy with the 2 sessions if that has to be that. And then I also want to do the same thing with 30-year-olds. So yeah, guys, guys don't want to participate in such things. It's really hard. I don't know why, but like it was hard. So thank you very much for agreeing to do this, right? So we're gonna start with introductions. I'm sure you guys saw what I said you should include in your introduction. I'll just introduce myself, and then you guys will also do the same, right? So my name is Kgosi Motlhabi. I'm 24. I'm turning 25 in a few months, and I don't have any kids. I'm not married, but I probably ideally want to get married one day, and I don't have any kids. So according to my screen, Magase, you'll go first, and then Mbonisi, you'll go second, and then Kgosi, and then Esihle.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Magase Mmola. Sorry, I'm 26. In a relationship. I've got a 2-year-old daughter, and career-wise, I'm in the electrical engineering field, working as a technician.
Hi, I'm Mbonisi. I am 26. I'm traditionally married. I have a 1.5-year daughter. And I'm a barista in the coffee industry.
I'm assuming it's my turn, right?
Yep, it is.
Okay. My name is Kgosi Motlhabi, and 27 years old. Currently in the IT industry, banking, in the banking sector. I don't have any kids. I am not married, so yeah, pretty much I am, can sort of call it a clean slate type of guy.
Okay, okay, sorry.
Yes, your turn.
You can go. So when I am one of the youngest people in the room, I go to this age because that determines how seriously people take you. So for now, I'm doing that. But my name is Esihle Lupindo. I write for a living. That's what I do. But I'm also a teaching assistant in sociology for first, second, and third year. I don't have any kids, and I'm not married.
Sorry, what did you say about your age there? You said you are the youngest in the room.
When I'm one of the youngest people in the room, I don't reveal my age. That determines how seriously people take you.
Okay.
Not really.
Okay. So guys, we can answer questions like how I sent them as they go, or we can converse about it. So it's okay if you want to add on to someone's answer or whatever, you can just do that, or we can just go through the questions as they are if we don't have the conversing capacity, right? So I actually wanted to twist it around. I didn't want to start with careers and then finances. I want to start with relationships with you guys. Is that okay? Or do you want to start with careers and then in that order?
I don't mind any.
Anything is fine.
Yeah, I also don't have a problem with any of it.
Okay, so let's start with the first question. So dating in your 20s, right? For those who are dating, Magase, Mbonisi, okay, Mbonisi, you're already saying you customarily married. So for the rest of you guys, as when you're dating in your 20s, are you dating for fun? Are you dating to explore yourself? Are you dating to validate yourself, or are you dating for marriage? Who wants to take that?
For me personally, I'll just speak about myself, right? But in my early 20s, I think it was for fun. But I mean, as time went on, and things changed, priorities changed. Maybe back in my varsity days when I was still in school, it was more about fun. But now, the focus has shifted also. So I guess it just depends on where you are at that moment and where you are in your 20s, I guess, and psychologically too.
But for yourself now, you're dating for marriage. Do you want to get married?
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
Join us.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, Kgosi?
I have never dated for fun, ironically, as young as I am. But I also don't believe the concept of marriage. I would like to have a life partner, but at the moment, I'm not for the institution of marriage.
And why is that?
Because it's complicated. I think because I date men, so I think there's a lot of cultural complications as far as that is concerned. And I also think there's nothing that we can't achieve as life partners that we could achieve in marriage.
Okay. Okay. Kgosi, you raised your hand.
Yeah, so I have a slightly different approach to it, or I had a slightly different approach to it. So I think for me it has been basically a culmination of a lot of things. So firstly can be that you basically want to self-discover yourself, because there's some things that you as a person alone can't be able to do that. So there's certain qualities and certain things about yourself that someone else can be able to recognize. And also, having someone as a companion or a partner, it sort of broadens up the thinking of things. So back in my early 20s, I was in a long-term relationship, and there were a lot of things that in my life I was, I put them as priority over a lot of things, and having a partner will give you some additional perspective on things that you may normally don't see. And maybe to answer back the question on do you date for marriage or do you date for self-discovery? And I mean, as I said, it's a combination of all these things. So,
yeah.
But I normally dated because of these two reasons: self-discovery and for marriage. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to waste your time. First and foremost. Secondly, is time lost is gone, so you won't be able to get that time ever anymore. And for me, time has been time. I have a phobia of time. So if I feel like I'm spending much time on something that would not benefit me at the end, I normally don't go for those things. So it has been for me that you date for a life partner, and you date to also self-discover yourself.
Do you believe in marriage? Do you ideally want to get married at the end of whatever?
Yeah, I mean, marriage as an institution is a good institution. I think being tied down to someone for life is I think it's a scary, as much as it's a scary thing, it's a good thing. I mean, we can all agree in this group that marriage is not something. It's not something that you can just wake up tomorrow and decide to get married. But it's really a very good institution for helping you as a person to be able to realize your potential. I feel that's my 2 cents.
Mbonisi, what got you deciding to get married? How did you know it was the right time? Oh no, is it me or is it him?
It's frozen on my side as well.
Okay, it was frozen on me too. Okay, he's back.
I think you should ask that again, maybe.
Hello?
Yes. Did you hear that?
Guys, hear me?
Yes. Did you hear that question?
My network is... Nah, my network has started its things again. What was the question?
Oh, I was asking you, what got you to get married? Is it something you always wanted to do? Or was it because now you were going to be a father? Or is it like, was it something, it was in your plans?
I actually got married before I was a father.
Okay.
I guess I found the right person, and I was tired of always playing around, dating pointlessly. And I guess I found the right person, the one that completes me.
Chaser. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So okay, that's okay. That's good, guys. That's interesting. Are you choosing a partner based on what you truly want, or do you guys find yourself choosing partners according to what society deems a good partner, or what the other guys in society say is a hot girl? Or do you have do you go for people you really want? Like, do you know what you want in a person? Do you go for that, or do you think your choices are influenced by society at large? Okay, Kgosi, raised your hand.
Yeah, so trust me when I say this, but guys always know what they want,
That's true.
Even though you can date the hottest girl, tomorrow if you see someone that you really want, like that hottest girl will even be in the history, and you'll focus on this person that you want to get married to. Guys always know. So even when I'm sure even Mbonisi, when he decided to get married, at that point, it's like that feeling, like it's an undescribable feeling. You just feel it. You know when you know.
This is the right person. That's what you want. You don't care what anyone says. That's someone that you want.
Yeah. So there's a conformity of what society says about who or what type of a woman is good for a man thing doesn't work at all. Well, personally for me, I don't know about other guys, but for me it doesn't work.
Esihle, how do you choose your partners? Do you find yourself being influenced, or do you know what you're looking for?
Well, on my side, there can never be a partner that I choose that's a sense to be like, yes, that's the one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because for a large part of society, it's a very male-female kind of partnership, and so I have to choose what I want, and I often know what I want.
Is it simple to see what you want, or Ish, I don't know how to ask this question, but okay, I guess you all agree on being able to know what you want as a person, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me move to material expectations. When you are dating, do you look for a partner that is materially stable? Is that one of your tick box? Like, do they need to have a car? Do they need to have a house? Do you find yourself putting pressure on the next person that you want to date?
shall I go this one?
Okay.
I don't necessarily have those requirements of, okay, must have a car, a house, all of these things, but I would love to know that you can sustain yourself financially. That's just, it doesn't have to be anything extravagant, but you must be able to sustain yourself.
So you don't.
That's like my only financial requirement, really.
You don't date broke.
Sorry?
You don't date broke.
Don't date broke.
If they can maintain themselves, then I don't think they shouldn't worry about me. I can maintain myself, but maintain themselves.
Okay. Magase?
Yeah. Look, I share the same sentiment. As long as they can take care of themselves, that's all that matters. I can take care of myself. As long as she can also take care of herself, yeah, then we cool. We're cool.
Okay. Mbonisi, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, for me, as long as the person is driven to be financially independent, then I don't mind whether, okay, yeah. When I met my girl, she wasn't all financially stable and stuff, but she was working to get to that point. So, yeah, for me, that's my preference.
So you married potential.
Yeah.
Kgosi is so organized. He keeps raising his hand. Kgosi. Yes.
I have participated in a lot of online conferences, so gotta keep the etiquette going. But anyway,
Yes.
So I think I agree with Mbonisi, and I'll tell you why. Because in fact it's true for a lot of guys. I'm not sure from Esihle's perspective, but for a lot of guys, it's quite normal. Let me put it in inverted commas. It's quite normal for a guy who's well established. So well established, I mean he's financially stable. You know, he can support himself to date someone who is the contrast of that, so opposite of it. But due to the fact that someone has the potential to be able to be self-sustaining in the future, it can be like 3 years or 5 years or whatever, but there's always a plan for that person to be self-sufficient, then normally guys would go for those type of girls. Even, I mean, personally also for me, I always look for someone who has the potential to be self-sufficient. So I don't want someone who is going to be depending on me to provide for this, for that. As soon as we start getting a lot more serious. So the majority of the time, a lot of guys focus on, I don't know, it's just me, but I focus on potential, as well as, you know, the sheer will of a person to be able to achieve. That's something that I live by as a mantra. That, you know, if I set something for myself to achieve, I just go for it and nothing else. So if someone has that type of ambition as well to set goals, to achieve those goals, then I think they're more likely to be a lot more attractive than someone who doesn't.
Well, you're on that, right? And most times you guys go for, if you're more established financially, right, you guys go for like the opposite, right? Don't you think that's also where the pressure for guys to feel like they need to provide comes from? Like, do you feel like you've got the pressure to always be the one who's financially competent, if I can say that, in the relationship? Like, you always have to earn more, or you always have to have more as the male figure in the relationship.
So the thing about men in general is inherently we sort of have this title that's always being attached to us as providers. And the most unfortunate thing about that is that you know, if you as a man, you are not financially stable, or you're not financially I suppose sound, then you know, in the context of society in general, you're seen as a low inferior citizen. So the reason why I'm saying that is because let's suppose in a situation where there's a family, there's a family institution, and in the family institution you basically have two kids and a father and a mother. Now if the father is not employed and is not generating any income, it paints some negative picture. There's a negativity of sorts that's attached to the father due to the fact that he's unable to provide financially. So that's why I'm saying that's the unfortunate part about why a lot of men feel the pressure to be providers I suppose in relationships or even in communities in general, is that we inherently naturally we have that responsibility to be providers. I don't know about other guys, how other guys feel, but that's something that I've seen, as something that I've witnessed in a lot of families.
I want to say that that is actually pressure. That is one of the pressures that a lot of guys find themselves in, and sometimes I feel like it's unnecessary. It's like times are changing right now, honestly, and we have to move with those times. And if you guys are going to keep on putting that pressure on yourselves, you guys are the problem. What do the rest of you guys think about this whole providing thing, about being providers in relationships? Magase, you raised your hand.
I'd just like to add on what the guys have been saying. I feel like it also comes with the territory of that pressure. Comes with the territory when you're actually dating potential, right? So when you are actually dating potential, you must understand that for however long up until that potential is reached, you will be pressured to provide. In a way, well, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I also agree with Magase.
Esihle, how are your relationships? Do you ever feel the pressure to provide?
I've never felt that kind of pressure. I've been quite fortunate that the people I've been with, finances, I think that we discussed. Okay. Like eventually it's going to be a conversation, and who pays for dinner, for example, okay, we take turns on that, things like that. So I think when you're heterosexual, there is that kind of pressure that you must provide. But in our relationship, I don't think it is that refined, the pressure that exists.
Okay. But do you guys agree that it is pressure that you shouldn't be putting on yourself? Or not? Or are we going to accept it and say that's how it should be? Like, you guys need to provide. You need to be financially more stable than your counterpart.
But that's the expectation from women as well. So as much as it's pressure from ourselves, I feel like even society itself puts that pressure on us, in a way.
Okay, which leads me to my next question. Would you marry somebody who actually earns more than you?
Of course. I'm married to someone who earns more than me. Yes, I'm married to someone who earns more than me.
Okay. So at first you said it was potential, and then she was working towards it, and then now she earns more. Right?
Exactly.
The others?
I don't mind either. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Kgosi?
For me, of course. If my partner earns more than me, I don't see it as a how should I put it? I don't see it as a disadvantage, or should I put it this way? Rather, I'd say like I don't feel intimidated by the fact that she earns more than me. I don't know. That's just me.
Alrighty, alright, guys. This is so weird. This thing of you guys not having your videos on is so odd. Like, it's like I'm speaking to blank screens. Yo. But anyway,
video keeps coming on and off.
yeah, Mbonisi keeps coming on and off. Like I'm just staring at black screens. You guys don't even have. At least in Mbonisi, when you're not showing your face, I can see a picture. You know, I'm like, okay, at least I, you know. Otherwise, I'm just seeing names. But anyway. My last question under relationships: are you guys domesticated, and what are your views on gender roles?
I am very domesticated, and I grew up in a house where I was the only boy, so I did what everyone else was doing. So gender roles are not a problem, are not an issue. Mm-hmm. They didn't exist when I was growing up. Mm-hmm. So that's just how I practice life.
Magase, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I'm also very domesticated. We are only boys. I don't have any sisters. So, yeah, we shared the chores amongst us as boys. So, even in a setup where I'd actually be living with my partner, I wouldn't mind sharing the chores. I even like cooking. So, yeah, I don't think there should be any gender roles.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so now moving to careers, guys. This is gonna go quicker than I expected, I think. But anyway, okay. The first question under careers, right, is that do you think the societal standard of how we navigate our careers is the right way? Like going to school, then varsity, then graduate, then find a job. Is that how has that affected or impacted on your journey? Like how has that influenced your decision on how you pursue your career? Any takers?
Okay, I have taken the path of going through school, and although I had, for example, been writing before school, being at school has helped me think in a different way, mm-hmm. but also being at school introduced me to what I am studying right now, because I didn't know what sociology was before I came to university. So I found my career / my coding at university, mm-hmm. and I would not have done that had I taken an alternative route.
So you think you took the best route? Because
for me,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And do you think that's the way we should all be going? Do you think in other instances, other routes should be encouraged?
I think like different routes should be encouraged. I firmly believe in training, whatever training looks like for you in your field, but doing things that help you grow within your industry, whether that's school, whether that's shadowing someone, any kind of training. That's what I do.
Okay, I just want to go back to the education system in South Africa, right? And how, so, like, you know, this whole thing, somebody raised it in the ladies' session about how we're not ready to make the decisions we make in grade 10, right? And how much emphasis is put on science and accounting, and like it feels like other aspects are kind of like neglected in high school. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that is true, even in terms of the funding that's available in terms of what you study. It's very accounting, sciencey based. It's not very humanities. And I think a lot of people don't see the value in studying the humanities. And they think because I'm moving towards a digital space, we're going to need more science and technology people. But I really think there is value in both of them. So for example, if we think around Ebola, right, in some parts of the country, that how those African countries overcame that was through very humanities approach of going to them, something that science and accounting does not.
Okay, I hear you. Magase, you had your hand up.
Just to answer the question that you actually asked earlier, society's way of going through school, getting a job, and all of that, man. Look, I personally feel like I've learned a lot outside the actual classroom than in the classroom. And the more I've been working, the more I realize that even if I had taken a different route as compared to going to university and then coming to the workforce, I still would have got myself somewhere. You understand? But I feel like it's also the lack of information that we don't easily get, or we do get, but by the time you get it, you're already way ahead. You understand? So yeah, look, I feel like there are many other ways instead of going through the conventional way, the conventional schooling system. Yeah. The right type of information is important. The right type of training is important. I can go to university 4 years later, but still not have a job. You understand?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Oh, Kgosi, you had your hand up. Sorry, Mbonisi, I muted you there because I was hearing sounds from your side. But you can.
Yeah. So just to add on to what everyone is saying, I think. So I was watching a TED talk by Sir Ken Robinson, and he was talking about how the schooling environment kills creativity. And if you look at a lot of the industries, especially in the entertainment and creative industry, like photography, arts and culture, music, film, video, like all those industries, the creative industries, the majority of those people actually didn't go through a formal schooling system. But they still had an opportunity to be able to make a lot of money from the careers they followed. So the perfect example, I mean, it's your cusp and your vests. There's quite a number of people who out of this formal schooling process have found themselves in well-paying careers, and I think not so much that the society has sort of made schooling sort of like compulsory thing to go through, but as to what Esihle said in terms of how school broadens up your knowledge on things. It's quite important for us to go through that process, even though sometimes we probably may not like that process, but it's highly important for us to go through that process for the purpose of perspective. And this is something that also I've been doing. I mean, I myself been working and studying at the same time, and I've gotten a lot of perspective through work, but also from an academics point of view, I was able to shape my mindset through to more paradigms of thinking. So once you're in a career mode or in a career mode path, it's very difficult for you to broaden up your paradigm of thinking, because you are only specializing. So if you go through a schooling process, then it helps you to broaden up your way of thinking and the way you do things in general. And that can also open up a lot of opportunities and doors for other career paths that you may have an interest in, or if you find yourself in spaces where you need additional skills, and considering the fact that there's the whole fourth industrial revolution thing, which I think has been ongoing for the past 12 years, it helps you to broaden up your landscape of thinking, and helps you to pinpoint the actual direction that you want to go through. So
yeah. Yes, I agree, guys. I agree. I guess it also depends on the route you're taking. And I mean, structured learning does also expose us to some things, even though we learn a lot more out of structured learning. Okay, so do you guys think you are where you thought you'd be at this age when you left school? So if you did, like, maybe probably think about yourself now when you were leaving school and be like, okay, I'm leaving school, I'm gonna take on this journey. Do you think you are where you thought you'd be at this age?
Nah, I don't think I've reached that level yet. Yeah, I still need to work more on a lot of things. Because I've only reached like half my goals, the ones that I've set when I left high school.
The goals that you thought you would have achieved at this age?
Thank you. And one of them is having a degree, because I kind of dropped out of varsity second year and pursued coffee. So yeah, I am not there yet.
For those who don't know, guys, Mbonisi makes the meanest coffee, so you need to try it out.
Nice.
Anyone else?
So I
Can
don't.
I?
Okay. No, you can go.
Oh no, go ahead. Esihle.
Thank you. So I don't plan ahead. I've never had vision boards and all of those things. How I go about life is what needs to be done today, and I do that. Then when I look back, I'm like, oh, so that was leading to this point. So I've never thought ahead. I'm not thinking ahead even right now. I'm just doing what I can and what I'm supposed to do on the day. Then when I reflect, I realize the pattern is okay. What I've been doing has been leading to where I am right now.
So when you were leaving school, you had no plan. Like, you just like, okay, I'm just taking it as it comes.
All I knew was, here's an acceptance letter from varsity, let's go. What comes after that, I had no idea.
Okay, interesting. Okay. Kgosi and then Magase, you both raised your hands. So, Kgosi, you can start because you raised it first, and then Magase, you go after him.
Sure. So now at the time I finished grade 12 in 2010, Kanaka World Cup. I had a clear vision of what I wanted to do, and I applied for. Initially, I wanted to do chemical engineering, but then I also developed a love for computers. So, I was conflicted as to which side I should follow. But I ended up going through, after engaging with a lot of people, especially in these type of industries, and realizing how the next generation, or what the next generation career is going to look like, because I imagine myself in 2025 and thinking about if whether or not chemicals will still be, or chemical engineers would still be relevant then, and I thought about computers also, and if whether or not in 2025 they'll still be relevant. And that's when I actually made my decision that I want to be in the IT industry. So I set my career goals forward, and I never actually looked back, never looked any sideways. I just went straight and got my qualification. And the immediate thing that I did when I finished my studies was that I wanted to start my own consulting firm. But then, at that point in time, you then realize that you don't have enough experience to be able to start a consulting firm, or even start a business for that matter. So, fortunately, during that time, I also got employed by a bank, and ever since I've been in that type of environment, I've learned so much in terms of how to manage things in a workplace, how to interact with people, and also there's a level of skills that I've acquired so far that I'm also now still acquiring. So for me, it's been the thing that I need to always plan ahead. I need to set milestones. I need to set goals. I need to set but I don't have a vision board of, so that, like, I don't draw stuff. I don't list stuff. I just know that this is something that I need to do, and I do it. and I always sort of plan before I finish what I'm doing currently. So it's a repetition of things that I'm always trying to achieve.
So what I'm getting, you don't put a date to it, but you know the plan. So you're working towards a plan.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, so there's no date. Like I don't put dates dates on achievement. So if I want to, I suppose get a, I don't know, go through for a master's or a degree or whatever. I don't put a date to it, but I know that it's something that I need to do. So, and once I'm in that type of mindset, it becomes a thing that you started this.
Hello? Is it me or is it him?
Yeah.
It's him.
Can you guys hear me?
It cut you there.
Did I get cut?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So I was saying, I'm the type of guy that, who sets stuff, who sets goals and then tries to achieve them. So I don't write them, and I don't set any time limits to them. So yeah.
Okay, got you. Magase?
Look, to be honest, when I did matric, I didn't have a clear vision. All I knew is that I wanted to study something in engineering. And then it just so happened that I ended up in electrical engineering. As soon as I started, I think about a year into it, I kind of started thinking that, you know what, I don't think this working thing is for me, because I used to work over the holidays with the company that I got a bursary with. So then I realized that, you know what, I don't think the working industry is for me. But I love the electrical industry, but I just didn't feel like the working thing is for me. So I kind of took my career as a means to an end. So I know what I want to do, but like I said, my career is a means to an end. So my career is going to get me to the kind of business that I want to be doing after 35. Yeah.
After 35.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to skip this next question because I was going to ask you guys if you've established your career path or if you're still trying to figure yourself out. But I think all of you sound like you know what you're doing or what you want to do and you're still working towards that, or you are on that journey already, right? So I'm going to skip that question. Unless if anybody wants to answer it. I think you guys all answered that question somehow, some way. Okay, so most of you guys are working, right? And before you work, you're probably depending on your family, and they kind of have a little bit of control over your life, if I could say. So ever since you guys started working, do you think that your family perception of you changed? Is there like any less of control? Do you think you have a little bit more power in your family now? Like, can you also say, put in your words, your 2 cents, if you were not putting in your 2 cents? Yeah, anybody for that? Yo, what will I do?
Okay, I'll go. Well, personally, I gained control of my life.
Okay.
Like, yeah, full control of my life. I made my own decisions. I moved out of home, and yeah, I can now say stuff in family meetings because as an adult who can bring something to the table.
Was it different before you started working to now?
Yeah, it was very different. It was different.
Okay.
I was part of the kids before I started working. Then became an adult once I started working.
Okay, interesting. Anyone else? Okay, there's a hand. Kgosi?
Not for me. Like in the black family, like you'll always be the child. Like irrespective of whether or not you're 50 or maybe whatever age, you will still remain a child. So now in the eyes of my mother, I'm still her child.
Yes.
and there's no such a thing called I have my own word or whatever. Like once she says one, we all say one, you know. So, but obviously there's some things like, you know, like washing the dishes and stuff. Like I don't do those things anymore because I've graduated, you know.
Whoa.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, like, you know, there's some things that, I mean, you can't just come from all the way from work, driving in mad traffic and then coming home and then you have your sisters who are not doing it and they tell you to go and wash dishes. Oh, doesn't work that way. But I do those, not that I don't do them, but like there's some instances where you know they just give me leeway because obviously I've graduated from being a dependent and now I'm independent. But yeah, but there's no power struggle. Like there's no power dynamics that now I have the boys. Nah, like if in my mother's house, I'm a child. So
yeah,
that's that.
Okay, Magase, I see your hand up there.
Okay, from my side, there is like more power, because I live in a household where basically everyone works. I mean, it's me and my folks, right? So everyone is always working. No one is hardly in the house. During the day, the house is always empty. So the chores are shared, and even if something needs to be done with the house, whether it's repairs or maintenance or anything like that, like I know my opinion counts for a fact, you know. So I've got a little brother. I remember when it was time for him to choose what course he's going to do and so forth, my parents brought me as well to have that little small family meeting. So yeah, and if ever, like it's the same, if ever Bamukuza, it usually tell me that, Joe, man, go speak to that little nigga. So I guess yeah, there's a little bit more power. Third parent, if you might put it that way.
What was it different before you started working? Like that's.
Yeah, it was different. I was a kid back then.
Okay.
They are raising hands.
Oh yes.
So I think I gained a bit of control of my life because it moved from a thing of, can I please have money for this, or can I please go there, to I'll be gone for 3 days. Thanks, I'll see when I come back. And I have that kind of financial independence where I can make those decisions and not bother anyone in terms of where I'm going, what I'm going to do there.
True. Okay. Interesting, guys. Okay. My next question is: do you think or feel that your peers are ahead of you, or do you feel like you are ahead of your peers if you do a comparison? I mean, it's not a matter of comparing, but you sometimes just look and like observe and think that some of your peers are probably way ahead of you and you feel like you are like way behind, or maybe you are ahead of your peers, you know? Not that you're competing with them or anything, but like, do you ever make those observations?
I think I am in the middle, because sometimes I look ahead and I'm like, wow, you guys have built like solid careers, well done. Then there are also some of my peers who I feel I'm a bit ahead of them. So I think I'm in between those two groups of people.
Okay. Magase, I saw your hand.
Yeah, it's the same here. I mean, there's some people I grew up with and feel like, wow, you've done really well for yourself, Babo. And then obviously, and then you realize that, hey, you know. But I try not to like look at that, you know. Usually I just like, I'm always focused on my own business, with my own things. And yeah, and it's funny, ever since my daughter was born, I've kind of like detached from friends and all of that. So I feel like I live in my own world in a way. So where I just literally focusing on myself and not really what's happening with everyone else around me. And I feel like that makes me feel better, not knowing what's happening with other people. I'm cool with that, and it keeps me going, I guess. So yeah, but I try not to focus on other people.
Okay. I know this question kind of probably sounds like, it's encouraging competition. No, guys, it's not. But like, we probably all just do that one yana comparison yana sometimes and be like, yes, Kgosi, I see your hand.
Yes, me.
Yes.
Okay. So I have a group of friends who are, have like a wide spectrum of friends. Friends I normally hang out with, friends I consider as close friends, friends I consider as acquaintances, and all these groups of people. Some of them are ahead of me, some of them are behind, and those who are behind, I try to actually pull them with me because in life, I believe you're only as strong as the next person. So if there's a brother who's in a similar IT industry, I try to pull him with me so we can all go forward at the end of the day. And I've been lucky enough to actually meet one of the guys who was actively looking for a job. I think he finished his data science degree at UP, but he didn't have any opportunity, or he even didn't know what to do, where to apply, how to apply. And those are the type of guys that you try to pull with you if you're already in the type of space that you can be able to control and bring others in. I feel like if people are, or if your friends are behind you, you need to like extend a helping hand, and pull them with you. So that's one of the principles that I've lived by ever since I've started working in corporate is that you're as good as the next person, and yeah.
Agreed, guys. Okay, so my last question on careers is: do you think society has put pressure on you to buy a car or a house as you started working? It's always like a debate between what do you buy first, and do you guys, if you have moved out or if you haven't moved out, do you find pressure in moving out of home? Or like, do you feel like society is putting pressure on you to like, hey, why are you still at home? People like making those comments like, why are you still living at home? Or whatever, Magase, I saw your hand, so you can do the honors.
With me, it was a bit different. My job, the work that I do actually required me to have a car. So, like it or not, I had to buy a car. Because then, you get paid car allowance and you get paid for traveling as well. So, the first thing I had to do immediately when I signed the contract, I had to buy a car. So, unfortunately, it wasn't really much of a choice. But in terms of pressures of moving out of home, I don't feel that at all. I'm saving a lot of money for being home. So I'm not feeling that at all.
Do you ever feel, do you get those comments though? Like, why are you still at home, man? Move out. Don't you want your own space? Don't you get those comments from people?
Look, as that comment would only really matter if it was my girlfriend saying that. You understand? And look, we've been together for almost 4 years, and she doesn't have a problem with it. She comes over absolutely anytime she wants to. So, we have that kind of space and freedom here at home. So, I don't feel that kind of pressure at all.
Okay. Kgosi, you have your hand up.
Yes. I agree with Magase. I also don't feel any pressure. I'm still at home. And this is mainly due to the fact that I'm saving up. There's a lot of savings when you're still living at home that you can be able to do. And also I think the other thing is, so I didn't even feel any pressure the moment that I started working. So I think I didn't have a car for I think probably like 15 to 16 months. So I used to travel with a friend who went into the same direction to work. So I never felt any pressure to buy a car or buy property or, you know, do all of those sorts of things. So I just followed my own pace. I knew that I had to get a car soon, or I know that I need to get a property soon, but it's things that I do at my own time and my own pace. And yeah, there's absolutely no pressure.
Mbonisi, you said you moved out of home. Was that pressure, or was it just a decision you wanted, like you took?
I chose to move out of home because I wanted my space, and yeah, I got married.
You live with your wife?
Yeah, because mainly I wanted my space. I love my space. I love my silence, where I can do whatever I want, whenever I want.
Esihle, any inputs?
Sorry?
Any inputs there?
I think for me, I would probably get a car first, because property seems more fixed, and at this point of my career, I'm still open to packing up and leaving for career decisions. And a car is something you can travel with and take you to your next location, but property seems more fixed and settled down kind of investment.
Okay, our last set of questions, guys. We're moving. Okay, so now we're talking about financial literacy, right? So the first question is, do you think you are financially literate? Do you guys budget or save? And if you are you sticking to that budget? Because, you know, sometimes you save and then you use the money and then you have to start from scratch. Like, are you saving or budgeting for long term? So the first question actually is, are you financially literate? Do you think you're financially literate? Magase.
No, I heard everyone was quiet.
And I'm just like waiting for the hands. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but okay, from my side, man.
Yes.
When I started working, man, I just didn't even know what to do with my money. So I made a lot of mistakes, man, and I had to learn from those mistakes in order to be more financially literate. You understand? So before I didn't budget, but now I realize that it's important to budget. It's important that, you know what, to cut the unnecessary spending, you know, things like that. So my point is, I had to learn first. You know, I had to lose a little in order to be a bit more smarter with my money.
Okay. Yes, Kgosi.
Yeah, I agree with Magase, and due to the fact that, I mean, you know, in the first few months when you sign a new contract of employment, you just want to go all out, buy everything that you see. So I think I went through also that space. I mean, it's like a car. When you start getting a new car, you travel a lot, spend a lot of petrol. But then you know, after a few months, you just start getting bored, and you start learning that, hey, actually traveling is costly, you know. So luckily on my side, I learned that I think I learned it in the first 2 months. Yeah, I learned in the first 2 months that exhaustive spending or unnecessary spending is unnecessary. So that's when I actually started to budget, and I also started to diversify my money. So I started opening like investment accounts and then putting money in there. But one thing I can tell you that it's very difficult to actually stick to budgets. So sometimes things can literally come out of nowhere, just screw the entire budget. But yeah, it's one of those things that you can't control in life. But yeah, I think financially, in terms of financial literacy, I think I'm quite ahead, or actually not ahead. I'm quite there where I expected myself to be. So yeah.
Okay.
Financially, I am my own worst enemy. I'm admitting this. And what really messes up with my finances is, so for example, in 1 month, if I get to submit a journal article and two like articles, and still submit my thesis, like a chapter towards that, I'm like, I deserve to reward myself. So let's do that. So that's what messes up my financial life.
I get you. I love rewarding myself too. Hey, yo. Yeah, but yeah, budgeting is a thing for me. Sorry, Mbonisi?
Oh yeah, I was saying, for me, I can say, I sometimes get reckless also, and yeah, the fact that I've got a kid as well, sticking to the budgets is a bit difficult because anything can happen.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Okay. I get you. Okay, so this next one. Okay, so I don't know. Do you guys want to answer this one about, did your parents teach you how to handle money? Did your parents teach you how to save? Nope. Magase, no.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
They didn't teach me, but I learned from their mistakes.
Yes. Learn from their mistakes. Yeah. Okay, so my next question. Okay, these two questions probably you can answer at the same time. Do you have black tax, right? And how is this holding you back? And then what other financial expectations came about when you started working? Like what other, besides black tax, do you have other financial expectations that you didn't, anticipate, and then all of a sudden they were there? So yeah, it's kind of a loaded question, but yeah, we can just cover both at once if you are going to answer this one.
Okay, I'll go first. So for me, I don't know if it's black tax or not, but I offered to pay my brother's varsity fees. Yeah, so yeah, I guess it's part of black tax.
Did you feel like it was expected of you to offer, or is it something you did from the bottom of your heart?
Yeah. Yeah,
which one?
Because I wanted to.
Oh, you did it because you wanted to. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
On my side, I think my family doesn't think like writing's a serious career. They think it's just a hobby thing. So there isn't, because it's not what I'm studying or what I've studied. And they're waiting for that moment, so I can get away with it. But then my other problem is I'm a rather generous uncle because I'm not a parent yet. And if I see something, I'm like, hey, I've got so many nieces and nephews, must get this one, that. So that is my relationship with them.
But it's more like gifting. Like if you see something, be like, oh, let me get it for. It's not like it's expected from you every month.
No.
Okay, so you don't pretty much have black tax. Okay, so nobody really has black tax here. Wow, guys, you guys are living life, huh? Hey, Magase, your hand is up.
I do.
Okay, who's going? Magase, you can go first.
It's Magase.
Look, I don't think. I mean, obviously every month there's stuff to do around the house and all of that for the family and whatever. Be my little brother, or here and there, fix this, fix that. But I don't think it's holding me back. I've never felt that way. The only problem is when there are emergencies, and then the eyes turn to you. You understand?
Yeah. I get you.
Yeah, that's where the problem is for me. Like, can I breathe? But otherwise, like, I don't think it's. I never feel like it's holding me back. I feel good when I do it as well. You understand? So, yeah.
It's more like what Kgosi said, bringing the next person, but you're doing it in your family. You're just bringing up or helping. Yeah. Okay, Kgosi, your turn.
So now when I first started my first contract, the first thing, because at the time, I think my dad was 63. Yeah, I think it was 63. And at that point in time, I think he was approaching the retirement age. So the unfortunate part about that process was that my dad basically wasn't, or they didn't offer them like a retirement package. And to add on to that, the majority of his savings he used to basically fund my education. So, so it then became the thing where, after I start working, then I need to obviously pay back. But it's not a payback of sorts, but it was a thing that I needed to thank my parents for the sacrifices they've made. So I took initiative to pay for the house. So I paid for my parents' or the house that we live in for several months. And then that later on he fell onto my mom. So I started covering other costs like groceries, electricity, and other stuff. So I think I agree with Magase that it's not something that's holding me back. It's mainly me doing it purely out of love. So.
And I mean, it's running the household you're also living in.
Yeah, I mean, if your mom is telling you something, I mean, you can't just let your mom, just suffer like that. Or even if it's your sister or it's your brother, you can't just let them suffer like that if you have means to help. So, yeah.
Cool, guys. Last question. So besides you and your employer, right? Who else knows how much you're earning? Like, who knows the exact salary?
No one. No one.
For me, it's the wife.
She knows, like, to the T. She knows how much you're getting take home.
Yeah, like we open with each other when it comes to such. Because I know how much she gets, like she knows how much she gets.
Yeah, that's good, because then also the expectation part,
And it makes it easier to budget for stuff. Makes sense.
Magase, you?
Yeah, my partner as well. My partner knows. It comes down to the same thing, just being open, and it makes it easier when you're budgeting for things as well. Or sama kala ka san green fetish aksala chelle no one so like usat cause again and all of that. So yeah, just for the sake of being open.
Yo, wow, guys, nah, nobody will know my salary, never, just me and my employer. I cannot. Guys, that's it. Do you guys think there's anything else you'd like to cover? Do you have any questions you wanna talk about? We've got like 13 minutes left. Or are you guys good?
I'm
good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm also good.
Any feedback? How was this for you guys? Is it something you'd like to do again one day?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.